Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have exciting sessions on digital marketing, sales, e commerce, and many, many more. Make sure to download the VFairs app on your mobile phone for a smoother watching experience. We know you're all excited for this session, but for now, chill for a few minutes and watch this video for reminders before we begin. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Nest Level session on Maggie strengthening consumer connections through digital acceleration. Hello, everyone. My name is JV from Nestlé Philippines, and I will be your host for this session. Before we start, let's just share a few house rules so that we will have a smooth flowing session for today. Make sure to check out our chat box so you can catch important announcements and links on how you can engage with us using slido.com. We know you are all eager to participate, but please avoid flooding so you would not miss any of those announcements, all right? And always have your mobile phones on standby so you can scan the QR codes on the slides and have access to possible career opportunities in marketing, sales, and data analytics across Nestle markets around the globe. And who knows, you can be one of us, a force for good in the near future. How great is that, right? So for today, let's take the first step to being a force for good and begin our session. So let me introduce to you our keynote speaker for today. She is the service pillar and business development lead of Nestle Philippines. One of our talents, a power woman and a digital marketer with 14 years of experience in capability building, consumer platform development, brand management, account management, and events management. Whoa, what can't this woman do, right? Everyone, please welcome our speaker for today, Raine Marie Calva. Hey, Raine.
Hey JV, how are you today?
I'm great. I'm looking forward to your talk because Maggie has been one of those brands that has been there for years, even before we
Mhm.
were born. So yeah, I'm really excited to hear about how it has evolved and how you guys are now leveraging technology to stay on top of the game while still staying true to the purpose of Maggie. So Rain, the floor is yours.
Thanks, JV. So good day and good evening to everyone in the call. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope you guys are enjoying Nest Level. For the Filipinos who are watching us today, thank you very much for spending your lunch break with me. It is exactly 12 noon in the Philippines right now. So thank you so much. Again, I'm Rain. I'm the service pillar lead for Maggie Philippines, and I'm here to tell you the story of how Maggie strengthened our consumer connections through digital acceleration. So, what changes we went through, what we learned along the way, and how our digital initiatives contributed to business results. Let me start by sharing Maggie's purpose and reason for being. Maggie exists to help people cook the fresh food they love and believe in every day because we believe it's simply good for you and your family. Nothing beats that home cooked meal. And I'm sure we all have a dish in mind made by our moms that brings so much memories and love with it, right? I don't know if you realize it because I only did when I became a mom, how difficult it is to answer this simple question on your screen. What do I cook today? And this is a question that plagues our consumers every single day. How do I prepare my food? There is an obvious gap on cooking skills and know how. It's so easy to run out of ideas and dish repertoire when you do this every day. And if you have kids and they're picky eaters, oh my gosh, it adds to the crazy. Then of course there's a practical aspect of time and budget constraints. Where do I connect with other foodies? In our world today, we're greatly influenced by real people, right? And we want to see other moms cooking, what they're cooking so that we can try it too. So we at Maggie challenge ourselves to address these pain points and help our consumers answer this daily question. To do that, fundamentally, we need to understand how their behavior has been evolving. Not sure how many of you are moms and how many of you can relate to these photos, but in the last 3 years of the pandemic, I am one of these moms, juggling so many things at the same time, where the demands of everyday life seem to have increased exponentially, and the divide between work and family life has diminished. And we found ourselves relying on the internet, right, to survive. So there's that great transition to being digital. And digital is no longer just a medium for us, it's a way of life. It's actually our life platform, not just for entertainment, but to upskill ourselves and progress with our lives. So just to contextualize this for you, let me go over some digital stats here in the Philippines. 82% of Filipinos are online, and you can compare this globally, which is only at 62.5%. And below, you can see the top channels where we're in, where Facebook, of course, leads because we are the sixth highest users of Facebook worldwide. We spend 10 and a half hours on the internet compared to the rest of the world who only spend 7 hours. And we do this mostly on social to stream video and music and also to play games. But here's where it gets interesting for Maggie. So based on the past year, there have been 33 million recipe searches on Google, 25 million recipe searches and views on YouTube, and this is the craziest part, 4 billion video views on TikTok, right? So to remain relevant and meaningful to our consumers, Maggie needed new ways to connect and adapt to this digital evolution. Maggie had to be part of this live platform. We had to be part of their conversations. We had to pivot to strengthen our consumer connection. Now, Maggie's ambition has always been to be the Filipino cook's preferred ally in preparing the food that they love every day. And at this point, it was quite obvious that we needed to do this in digital platforms. So we embarked on a digital transformation, which at the time was such a big buzzword with no playbook and no one to guide us on how to go about it. So we had to be smart and we didn't let ourselves be wowed and get lost with the shiny new toys that digital has to offer. Instead, we grounded ourselves with business strategies centered around our digitally centric consumer and mapping out our digital acceleration. Because for us, the fundamental principles are the same. Having our consumers at heart with leadership and people as our foundation and technology as a mere enabler. Thus born our digital ecosystem with recipes as our strategic currency following our consumers' cooking journey from planning, shopping, using, and even sharing. Let me go through each one by one. So when our consumers plan, we inspire them with always on and relevant recipes and tips in platforms they're in, like Facebook, IG, and YouTube. We capture their cooking intent whenever they're searching for recipes, and our assets are designed to be their cooking ally, as you can see below. Our website has top Filipino everyday dishes that moms cook on every single day. We have a menu planner to help them answer their question, and it can even turn leftovers into new meals for less wastage. We also have what we call our Tita Maggie chatbot, which translates to Aunt Maggie. This is our most recognized innovation locally and globally. It's a 24/7 kitchen assistant for recipe and culinary needs, housed in the platform with the highest penetration in the Philippines, the Facebook Messenger. Both of these assets allow us to capture first-party data, which we'll use to personalize their experiences better. When they're done planning, they shop. When they shop, we ensure we drive conversions and offer solutions where they can easily buy online and offline. We have shoppable recipes enabled by our retail partnerships and buy now buttons in our assets, leading to e-commerce platforms where we're quite active, especially in popular sale days. When they finally cook, we encourage usage and furthering their culinary skills. So of course, we have our website and our chatbot, which already provides the recipes that they need, but we also have our Sarap Sustansya kitchen. So this means tasty and nutritious kitchen, which is part of our advocacy to promote food security, where we first teach them to plant their very own urban garden and then educate them through online cooking and nutrition modules. A pilot we're proud of this year is reaching 180 schools where students, teachers, and their parents participated in our learning modules to join our virtual cook-off. So that's the photo you see below with student education. We also churn out a lot of content on tips and hacks, recipe videos. We do live cooking demonstrations And we offer recipe books for moms who sign up in our club. Finally, when they share, it's important for us that we are part of their conversation. So we ignite this through influencer amplification on popular platforms like TikTok, as you can see there. We do press releases on our advocacy and partnership with government institutions to further our cause and encourage people to join. And of course, tying everything together is data. We gather across these journey points that we evaluate and feed into our content to make sure we're always relevant and keep strengthening our consumer connections. So we're really always iterating, always improving how we do things. It's never boring for Maggi Philippines. So now you've seen our ecosystem, let me share with you how we made that possible through these critical enablers, our 3 Cs. So first is culture. A winning culture is the strongest foundation of our digital acceleration journey. And we have a couple of things on it. First is on learning. So you have to understand that the team behind this are all traditional marketers. But we had to learn digital fast to adapt. We had to learn and unlearn, which is a big challenge for marketers who have tried and tested ways of doing things, right? And since digital is a wild animal that constantly evolves, we leverage on industry partners like Meta and Google to teach us the basics. And of course, our global network of Nestlé to study use cases of markets that have embarked on digital journeys before us. From what we learned, we started small. We experimented, we did a lot of test and learns, we iterated, we did a lot of failing, guys. We failed fast, but we also learned fast. We studied our competition, not to beat them at the onset, but we humbled ourselves and really understood what they were trying to do. And then we did it better because we have to be better than our consumers and than our competitors, and that's what makes us market leaders. Second is being service oriented. We had to make the mental shift that it's not about merely selling our products, but serving our consumers with what they need while making sure we play a role as the ally to deliver the success they are looking for. Being very conscious that our consumers have the power to choose content whenever and wherever they want to consume it. Last and most important is mindset. So a speaker yesterday mentioned that digital skills can be learned, but the openness and mindset has to be innate. And being able to learn and unlearn new concepts, accept what works today but doesn't tomorrow, and iterating in an agile manner are all possible because of this mindset. And all of this gives us a winning culture that enables our digital acceleration. Our second C is on capability. So first is on people. We had to get everyone on board to discover the goodness of homemade cooking. We need to know and eventually master our craft as foodies, so we learn about culinary art, we do food science, and we work on embedding love for cooking to our internal and external partners. We even go to the extent of having cooking classes. This is mandatory when you work for the food business unit in the Philippines. So if cooking is a life skill you want to learn, come join us. Next is on structure. So it's a big task to tackle, right? And our brand teams obviously have their own deliverables in mind. So we had to form a dedicated service pillar team. And with this team came a network of agencies who enable this ecosystem. So the service pillar team right now orchestrates about 8 agencies at any given time to ensure that our ecosystem functions like a well-oiled machine. Then there's process. There was a lot of change in our ways of working because in digital, everything happens so fast, right? So we do a lot of collaboration with our brand teams for budget setting, recipe strategies, and content approval that was designed to be agile. We evaluate quick so we can iterate quick as well. Then there's technology. So I mentioned earlier, it's really just an enabler for us. So we enable ones that are aligned to our business strategies. In our case, we have technologies like the content studio that will allow us to churn out content fast. And we have DCO or dynamic creative optimization so that we can personalize content for our audiences. Last and probably the most important C for critical enablers is commitment. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of leadership commitment. Without the buy-in of your stakeholders, you can't progress any of your plans. So we're very lucky to have a very supportive leaders who believed in the potential of digital at a time when there were no experts and no playbooks, right? And this commitment is likewise imbibed by the team to push hard and continue exploring paths unknown, to always help our consumers answer their everyday question, what do I cook today? And I'm proud to share that because of this, our efforts have been recognized internally and externally. So our ecosystem has been recognized this year in the Simply Good Food Honor. So this is led by our strategic business unit of Nestlé Food Brands Worldwide. We were also recognized as the best in digital marketing in Nestlé Philippines last year. And we were a finalist back in 2020 in the Meta Nestlé Creative Awards. Now, in terms of business deliverables and contribution, we have a dominant digital share of voice versus our competition. And through our efforts, we've also helped Maggi maintain their highest market share in the category. And we've increased brand power and distinct brand attributes. What does this mean? Whenever they see our recipe content, it helps them consume more Maggi. And we develop brand love because of it. So it seems like we've done a lot of things, but what's next for Maggi? So we're really just scratching the surface, and there's so much more exciting things we can offer our consumers to further deepen our connection with them. So first, we want to build and activate first-party data in preparation for the cookieless feature. This is important for us so we can continue enabling them with culinary solutions that will make life easier for them. Next, we want to do personalization at scale. The more we know about our consumers, the better we can personalize their Maggi experience and the more relevant we can be in the way we communicate with them. Next is winning in e-commerce. We really just started here, and honestly, it's a small business contributor for Maggi, but we recognize the potential. So we'd like to work on a roadmap in achieving omni-channel for Maggi. All of these together with our food security advocacy is in place to ensure that we continue strengthening our consumer connections for the future. So I'd like to leave you with this slide since our aim is to recruit, right? So we want to share with pride that as foodies, we always strive to be the sharpest knife in understanding our consumers. We strive to be the taste adventure as we always try to learn and experiment in an agile manner. And we strive to be the strongest fire, pioneering and always ahead of competition and leading to win. So with that, I invite you to be one of us. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rain. What an impressive way of using, social media and digital acceleration. I especially love, and I'm a user of Tita Maggie and Facebook. So
Thank
much
you,
for that.
JV.
Thank you so much for that. And I just want to share that maybe from your talk, I really thought that the thought process that you've given to improve the consumer experience or your consumer experience was really impressive. From the planning stage to the product purchase, it's really impressive. So really, really good job to you and your team. And we're looking
Thank you.
forward and really excited for the future plans that you've just shared. But at this point, I think Rain, our participants are very excited to ask questions coming from your talk. FYI, we're at 221 right now.
Oh, nice. Hi, everyone. Thank you.
221
They joined us in
crossing
their
the
lunch break, JV.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for spending your lunchtime with us. Okay, so let's go through the questions. The first question, Rain, is what was one of the challenges you encountered in setting up your digital ecosystem?
Okay, so again, I emphasize the point that there was no playbook at the time and really no expert on digital at the time also. So we were kind of hoping, because as marketers, we always have an agency to work with, right? So we thought there was a one-stop shop who can do everything for us. And guess what? We were absolutely wrong. That's why we're working with a slew of agencies, because what we want them to do is so highly specialized. And this allows us to move in a very agile manner. So for example, coming up with that always on content takes 4 agencies to do. It's
Wow.
that crazy. So that was a pain point at the onset that we had to set up. And we had to make sure that all of the agencies we work with were also agile.
Wow, that's really big. 4 agencies. And I think though
Yes.
that's what sets you apart from maybe other companies or other brands. You don't just
Mhm.
adapt to the future, you define the future of the
Thank you.
All right, so let's go to the next question. What would be your advice for someone who is just starting their digital journey? Good question.
Mm, this one is very subjective. But in my experience, stay true to your brand purpose and use your consumer as your compass. The pitfall I think of digital is that there's so many emerging technologies, right? New
Yeah.
platforms coming out left and right. And if you're just being wowed with all those shiny things, it's so easy to get lost in the whole slew of available technologies. But if you use your consumers and your purpose as your guide, then you will be more strategic in coming up with your roadmap for how you will do your digital journey. There.
Thank you
That's
so
for me.
much. Very well said. Let's go to the next question. Do you have any plans to start Maggie Kitchen Academy to train and innovate new methods of preparing Maggie through online digital media? I think they're asking about the future plans.
Yes, that is something in our plans, definitely, because cooking is our heart and core.
Mhm.
But similar to our always on content, it takes a whole village to enable that. We do have plans next year in starting that already. And the first step you guys have to do is to join the Sarap Sustancia Cocina loyalty program of Maggie. And we have everything there in store for you coming up.
Wow, that's something we will really look forward to. All right, so the next question, Rain, is about product innovation. So, guys, I'm not sure if Rain can share specific details, but maybe some, non-confidential details that you can share. This participant asked if you have any plans for new product innovation in Maggie based on consumer preference for taste and lifestyles.
I can answer that question, JV. So again, since Maggie's purpose is to help you guys answer the question, what do you cook today? And essentially how we can make your lives easier. If there are certain trends that we pick up and feel like will make your cooking experience better, it's already in our pipeline. So of course, I can't divulge until it's launched, but you can expect exciting products from Maggie that will aid you in your everyday cooking. Practical ingredients that you use every day.
Yes, that's great to hear. Okay, so let's go to another question. This one is from Kin Shuk. He or she wants to understand what were the main KPIs that you used to ensure that your efforts were on track.
That is a difficult question to answer. So even up to this point, our KPIs are very tied to brand, right? At the end of the day, our efforts should be highly collaborative, such that if it's sales, if it's penetration, if it's market share, that are all important for your brand. Everything that we do is supposed to contribute to that. So we share the same KPIs. But on the capability building side, milestones are also our KPIs. When can we release a certain feature in our website? When do we release that Maggie Kitchen, right? When can we offer certain things to our consumers? So milestones and hard KPIs.
Thank you very much for sharing that. This is a good question. The next one. Is Maggie planning into exploring AI? And if yes, do you think brands like Maggie should base on machines or robotics as well, or should use machines or robotics as well? Or would you still go for the traditional route?
Proud to say that our Tita Maggie chatbot is already on AI, some level of AI. I think it goes hand in hand with the level of AI available here in the Philippines. But from my experience, even outside of Nestle, it still requires for human intervention, right? There are things a machine just cannot do.
That's
And
true.
Maggie is one of the brands that is highly in touch with our consumers. We have an emotional connection. So I think it'll always be a combination of both. AI will be there to scale up our efforts, but human intervention will be there to make sure that it's aligned to what we stand for.
Thank you so much for that answer, Rain. The next question is a little bit personal. I think I hope you don't mind answering this. But this is about your career. So considering that you're already a lead now in one of the top brands, not just in the Philippines, but the region or maybe the entire world, one of the top brands, Maggie. What value or what skill helped you in reaching this kind of success in your career?
I go back to mindset and openness. So I was a brand manager for 8 years of my life. And I was one of those people who fall in love immensely with my ideas and with my campaigns, right? Because that's how we were originally trained for brand. And I had to unlearn that the hard way. So I had a lot of resistance, and then eventually I matured enough to accept that, I have to be open to new things. And when I got into digital, that reaped a lot of benefits because JV, I kid you not, what I know now will probably be obsolete in a month's time. That's how fast digital moves. And when I say digital, it's all encompassing. But if you really go into the nitty gritty, if you just look at the agenda of Nest level, right, there are so many topics on it. And if you're not open, you really can't progress.
Mhm.
So long as you have an open mindset and you have that curiosity for paths unknown. I like to use that phrase because really digital is unknown. And even if you see a use case from Maggie, it may not necessarily directly apply on you. If you just copy it, it might not work for you. So there's a lot of learning that you have to do along the way. So yes, guys, be open. And I'm sure you'll thrive in a digital career.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Rain. So all 223 here today always have an open mind.
Yes.
So we go back again to Maggie. So this is an interesting question. Maggie is natively known as a female-centric brand. Do you have any plans of, how we can shift it to be more gender neutral?
That's part of our brand plans for next year. So not just gender, but also age. So
Yeah.
Maggie also has been known in the Philippines to be more on the mid-age mom, right? But we know that there are a lot of young cooks out there. To your point, there's a lot of better guy cooks than girls, right? So yes, we're trying to be inclusive in our future campaigns.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we have a couple more questions and a little more time. So let's get to this next one. Um, hang on. I'm choosing a perfect question.
Don't make it hard for me, JB.
Here you go. How does Maggie keep its competitive edge versus other brands in the digital ecosystem?
You have no idea how much that keeps me awake at night. So, so of course we do all of these things and we do get analytics for it, right? And you have to read through all of that. You have to pick up on trends. You have to have eyes on what everyone else is doing. And what everyone else is doing may or may not be the right thing to do. So you have to be able to discern as well which one is a fit for us. So again, I will go back to what Maggie stands for. and what our vision is. And if there are new ways of doing things, new emerging platforms to get into that majority of our consumers will be in, then we will be there. But I think it's an everyday thing. What is this brand doing and why aren't we doing it? I'm sure they're asking the same question. So yes, it's always a neck and neck battle on who does what first. Better.
Thank you, Rain. That question was from Kurt Santiago. Thank you, Kurt.
Hi, Kurt.
So the next question is from Muhammad Ali Haider. His question is, since e-commerce is the game right now, in your opinion, how many years do you think will e-commerce take over traditional commerce methods?
Oh, that's a very subjective question. So in my past life, I was in a different industry, right? And the rate by which e-commerce will overtake traditional is different across industries. And I think you can relate for maybe a beauty category. Some brands are already reaping more, contributing, e-commerce is already contributing more to their business than traditional. But for brands like Maggi, I would say it'll take a little bit longer. I cannot tell you it precisely how many years, but I can contextualize it this way. Maggi products are used on an everyday basis and it's available on sari-sari store. So here in the Philippines, it's your neighborhood store, right? It's within reach. It's across your house. And e-commerce in the Philippines is just starting to evolve into that quick commerce that has been talked about yesterday here in Nest level. So long as the infrastructure of e-commerce in the Philippines does not allow on-demand delivery of very small products, because Maggi is a very affordable product, guys. It's not a high spend.
Yes.
I think it'll also equate to how quick e-commerce will overtake traditional retail.
All right, so that was from Muhammad Ali Haider. Thank you for that question. Okay, the next one. How significant is consumer and market knowledge in Maggie's decision making? For your
Very, very significant. It's our heart and core. So consumer insight, I mean, for us to say that we have our consumers at our heart, it means we really know them, right? So research is in place, data is in place, analytics is in place, so that on a regular basis, we do get information on how they're evolving, how they're changing. And if, let's say, to illustrate, if we already made plans and suddenly we get new insights that it doesn't work anymore because behavior of our consumers change, we iterate our plans. So that's how important our consumers are for us. Because of course, if we're not relevant to them anymore, they're gonna stop using us. Even in recipes, the recipes that we churn out on a daily basis, if they don't like that anymore, then we're useless, right? So we really have to be on our toes to make sure that everything that we're delivering to them makes sense.
That's true. We need to stay relevant to our consumers, because why would they buy Maggi if it's
Exactly.
not relevant for them?
Yes. And we wouldn't be good marketers if we didn't.
True. And guys, Rain is a really good marketer. That's why.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next question. Yeah, so what I think this is the last question. Okay. So what is the importance of building a community for your brand? And are you able to measure the monetization of that community? Or maybe the ROI of that community?
Right. So I'll answer that in two parts. Okay. How important is a community? Very important. Even outside of the Maggi lens, first, we know that there are a lot of mom communities out there, right? And they're housed in different platforms. And their conversations are very authentic and they have the ability to influence their group, however big their group is, right? And these groups can be millions in number, thousands in number, and highly influence what's the next big thing. So they're very important for us, right? To be endorsed by these communities. We started our own, the Sarap Sustancia Cocina Escuela
Yeah, I've heard about
2
that.
years back. We had more than 100,000 members there. And it was more of a test for us. It wasn't meant for ROI. It was meant to see how the community was behaving. How do you communicate with them, right? Because of course, these communities are protective from brands, right? They know when brands are just trying to sell them something, and they know when brands are genuinely trying to help them. So we were very conscious that this community that we build, we're really just helping them with their culinary skills. So there was no selling at all. It was more of here's content for you to learn how to cook, how to properly fry, how to make your kids healthier, and all of those things, right? But of course, the goal is to eventually monetize that. So now we have insights on what kind of information they want, what kind of rewards would they want, which are all going into our CRM program for Maggi. So that's the second part of monetizing it. Will be something we'll do in the future, I guess. But I tend to steer away from using the word monetizing. I like to use the word value exchange.
Oh,
So
that's very good.
because we are consumers ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And we don't like being taken advantage of. But if a brand says, say, gives you something that is of value to you, like JV, if you really want to learn to cook and Maggie gives you free cooking classes, all you have to do is use Maggie in your dishes, then it's something that will happen so naturally, right?
True.
But if let's say uh, I'm forcing you to buy my product just to get something else, it's also not a good way to get consumers on board. So I like to use
Yeah.
value exchange more than monetize. Yep. And that was also the inspiration for our recipe books, the one that I've showed earlier.
Mhm.
So when moms sign up to our program, they get those recipe books for free. And we
we
give
love
them a
it.
new, yeah, and we give them a new one every month because it's something that they use on a daily basis.
Very, very useful.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much, Rain. That was our last question for you. But before we end, is there anything that you'd like to, say to our participants today? Maybe just a quick message for future marketers, maybe.
Join us. You'll learn a lot and you'll never be bored.
All
And
right.
keep cooking, guys. Thanks,
Thank you so
JP. And
much.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Rain, for the very insightful session that you've just delivered. And a huge thank you as well to everyone for attending this session. 200 plus attendees since we started. So we hope you enjoyed and was inspired as I am by Rain and the Maggie story. From this session, we learned that digital acceleration plays a huge role in marketing and that there remains to be endless opportunities to look forward to in rising trends and strategies for the future. So what a great session. Thanks so much again, Rain. So everyone, do not forget to catch the next session by Zekna and Kevin Yap as they talk about e-commerce acceleration at Nestlé Malaysia, where you will find out how Nestlé and Shopee's partnership led Nestlé Malaysia to lead in e-commerce. Wow, this is another session you would not want to miss, I'm sure. So click on the link on the chat box to go directly to the next session, or you can also go back to the VFairs agenda page and join the session from there. If you missed any of the sessions, even yesterday, don't worry because the recordings will be up very, very soon. Also, share your thoughts about today's Nest Level session and tag us in LinkedIn with hashtag NestLevel2022. Everyone, have a great day. See you in the next session. Bye. Thanks again, Rin. Thank you, everyone.